Hi, I'm Winter Veranda's Stupidity, and I'm adjusting my camera. This is Mushroom Oasis. This is another visual novel game, because I've started going back to those. Apparently my cat's missing, but I don't think this thing is my cat. So there was some warnings about this game I probably should have said. Jump scares, there's some animal abuse stuff, so this is your warning now. What's your name? Oh my god. What's your cat's name? Pork Chop. And your cat is? Male. Pork Chop has been missing for a while now. Fuck! He was an indoor cat, but had the tendency of a wild cat on a mission, trying to leave whenever the door was open. Ah, that's more French fry. Cattius and playtime just wasn't enough for the little mister. I should have put French fry. It's far more him. I figured he'd come running if I left out some food by the porch. 3 days later, still no cat. I tried everything I could think of. Asking around the neighborhood, putting up missing cat posters. Sadly, nothing came from my efforts. I couldn't search for him during the day since I had work keeping me occupied, and there's only so many hours in an evening I could yell around the streets looking for him. I'd be up all day and night if Pork Chop went missing.
Has anyone seen my son? Oh god, Timmy! That mother's adrenaline is kicking in! Timmy!
There's only one place left I could think of that he might have ran off to. The woods by my house, right across the street. I've definitely caught him eyeing the birds and squirrels that ran alongside the perimeters from the front window, his teeth clicking in excitement. I was no outdoorsy person by any means. In fact, the thought of going in there scares me. But I had to find him, or at least try. The first weekend that came around, I packed up some water, Pork Chop's favorite treats, and a compass to be safe. I wasn't sure where to even begin looking for him, so I started walking in a straight line, calling out his name every few steps. I'm gonna say this right now. French fry would be the one to go and pull some shit like this. Pork Chop likes to sit by the window and sleep and doesn't like new environments. He would not be escaping. It certainly didn't take long for me to realize I was in way over my head. Why did I think this was a good idea? Oh, I guess since it's me, I could just do default voice. Cool. It wasn't hard to find my bearings with the surrounding tree. It was hard, sorry. I didn't want to admit I was lost. At least, not yet. I could only squint down at my compass as the needle spun slowly. Pretty sure they weren't made to do that. Did I really bring a busted compass on my first venture out in these woods? Sounds like something I would do. Figured that would just be my luck. The only thing risking my own safety was my own incompetence. God, this really is me. I shook my head hastily. No time for negativity. I'd never say that. I'd keep bitching and moaning all the way through. Pork Chop was out there somewhere. Cold, lost, and hungry. Oh my god, don't make me think about that. Jesus, I really fucked myself over emotionally by making this Pork Chop. Oh my god. Zach, put up a picture of Pork Chop. Look at that cute little bastard. I love that guy. I had to keep going. I'm about to get so much more emotionally invested into this if now I'm thinking this is Pork Chop. It's been hours. I'm so lost. I don't even know why I kept searching even after that moment. I'd realized that. Why did I think this was a good idea? Hunger had been gnawing at my stomach for a while now, having missed breakfast and lunch altogether. The heat and humidity from the afternoon sun was unbearable, but the cooling air did nothing to soothe me. God, yeah, this sounds like me. Even if I were to head home, I couldn't even pinpoint where that was. What do people even do in this situation? Probably die. I knew it was paceless optimism, but walking onwards is really the only thing I could think of to do. That's how you get more lost. Surely I'll come across something familiar. I trudged on, my shoes carefully avoiding the tree roots intertwined across the forest floor. But in my weakened state, plus the approaching darkness, I found myself stumbling through the rough terrain. Oh god. My feet hit something soft, jutting out of the ground. Ugh! My hand shot out as I lost my balance. My feet clumsily tried to find purchase as I wobbled backwards, arms flapping. Just falls like a cartoon character. Oof. My shoe had landed smack dab in a circle of mushrooms, the brunt of it causing a wispy cloud to erupt from the cluster. Breathe that in, breathe that in. I stuck my nose in my elbow to avoid breathing it in. Ah! I couldn't differentiate one tree leaf from another for the life of me, but I'm pretty sure humans aren't supposed to inhale whatever the hell this was. It smelled strongly of rotten wood and wet dirt, even as it cleared. Whoa, something shiny quickly caught my attention. God, this is just like me. So much ADHD brain. Oh, what's this poison? Shiny thing! I stooped down to pick it up, gasping under my breath. It was Porkchop's collar! Porkchop doesn't wear a collar. It's fine. For the sake of this, he does. Covered in whatever the hell these mushrooms were. Released, sorry. I looked around desperately for any signs of him. Porkchop! Porkchop! Psst, psst, psst. I coughed from inhaling some of the remaining dust floating in the air. I should really steer clear from this. Pocketing Porkchop's collar, I retreat carefully until I could breathe again. Stepping back, I could still smell it. It must have stuck to my hair and clothes. A quick once-over confirmed my suspicions with a slight cringe. A thin yet generous coating of it covered my sleeves and jeans. You went out here in jeans? Jesus Christ, girl. I leaned against a tree, dusting off my clothes in a naive attempt to get the dust and smell out, to no avail. Yeah, good luck. If anything, it felt like I'm breathing more of it in. What used to be musty now turned sweet. I found myself inhaling even deeper, trying to pinpoint the smell. Cucumbers? It smelled like fresh cucumbers. A tingly feeling crept up my hands and neck, pinpricks spreading across my limbs as a strange heat reached my face. I started to feel drunk and woozy. My senses were numb. It should freak me out, and yet a strange comfort washed over me. I should lie down. Right now, in fact. Oh my god. My legs gave out from underneath me, my body toppling over at an awkward angle. I laid there and stared and stared and stared. It was nice here. A peaceful calm. The perfect place for a nap, even. I would definitely nap here. Minus the bugs. The bugs ruin everything. My eyes grew heavily as I swam in and out of consciousness. Yeah, a nap sounds really good right about now. Well, napping we go. Oh? Lots of critters passing through lately. Sorry this happened to you, little one. Who is this? Could have been anyone, but it had to be you. Wait, a human? How'd you end up all the way out here? Still breathing, too. I'll give this person a different voice once I see who they are. Ah, jeez. I can't leave you here. What should I do? I woke with a jolt. Oh, fuck! It was warm, but comfortably so. I could feel the weight of a blanket on me as I tried to sit up. I couldn't. Weighted blanket. Better. I couldn't move my body. My fingers twitched uselessly at my sides as my eyes darted around in panic. Yeah, that would start freaking me out, too. Glancing around, I could see the interior of a cabin, or at least the ceiling of one. I couldn't see much past the corner of my eyes. Where was I? How did I get here? A desperate feeling rose in my chest. I had to leave. Right now. This was wrong. I wasn't meant to be here. I could hear the crackling of a fire nearby, likely the source of warmth I'd felt on waking up. I could also hear footsteps approaching. I'll pretend to be asleep. I shut my eyes quickly, hoping they hadn't noticed. I slowed down my breathing, willing to face muscles to stay still. Be like squinting my eyes open just to see. From behind me, someone chuckled softly. That's uncomforting. I already know you're awake, Firefly. Who the fuck are you? Come on now. I'm not gonna hurt you. What the fuck? I definitely gotta give you a different voice. I fluttered my eyelids, straining to look at the person approaching. My eyes widened as they took their appearance. Protrusions from their forehead catching my attention. What are you, an elf? Not to mention the green skin. The stranger didn't sense my unease, and they heaved a sigh of relief. You're awake! That's good. Very, very good.
How are you feeling?
I blinked. I just drew a frog blink.
Oh, sorry, I forgot about that. Here.
The person held a cup to my lips, a strong sweet smell coming from the rim. Yeah, just drink this strange goblin juice. A gentle hand grabbed my chin to open my mouth. I couldn't even resist.
Don't worry, it'll help you feel better, I promise.
Drink up. Sure, why not? As the liquid hit my tongue, all I could feel was a vague sense of heat. As I kept drinking, taste and texture returned. The sweetness of berries and chameleon coated my taste buds. I could even detect a hint of mint. I lifted my head finally, hands fisting at my sides as I propped myself onto my elbows. The person kept a steady hand on my chin, careful not to pour in too much in case I choked. I finished every last drop, wiping my mouth with the back of my hand. I stared at my fingers, realizing I had full anatomy over my body again. Oh, sick!
Good as new. Now, how are you feeling?
Better? Thank you. The stranger laughed. I don't know.
Oh, I like the way you sound.
Oh, thanks. Voice training is hard, so I'm glad you get it.
Been ages since I talked to anyone, much less with a voice as nice as yours.
I brushed off their strange compliment, finally looking around the cabin properly. It was a simple room filled with sparse but decorated wooden furniture fit for someone living alone. I love your little mushroom hat, and I cannot tell your gender, which means we'll get along great. An open archway to the right led to what I assumed was the kitchen. Next to it, a door was closed shut. What's in there? Possibly the bathroom? Who knows? Taking it in, there was a common theme of knitted decorations thrown about. Any available surface had plaited knitting tablecloths covering it. Pretty cozy. An unfinished project laid beside the bed table where I sat, a pair of knitted needles just out of a pile of yarn from a small basket. As far as I could tell, it looked like the beginning of a green scarf. Ooh, can I have a green scarf? The stranger was comfortable in staying silent, observing me as I glanced around. Oh, you took off your mushroom hat. They tossed their hat onto the bed, scuffing the hair and making it even messier. With their hat off, their unique features were impossible to ignore. They look pretty cool. Sorry, but... Forgive my boldness. What the fuck are you? Oh, I didn't introduce myself, did I? Hiya, I'm... Michael. I assume that's Michael? Michael, with a Y. I shook my head. No, I meant that, Michael stared at me, their left ear twitching. You looked very... ugly? Off-putting? No! Just different. I would not have said ugly. Different, huh? You're just being nice. Well, then explain yourself. I mean, it's kind of rude, isn't it? I paused for a moment before pinching my nose bridge, exhaling slowly. I'm just... sorry, it's been a long day is all. I should be thanking you. If it helps, it's a skin condition. Oh, are you just not an elf? Is that what you humans call them? Oh, so you're not human. The way they said it didn't sound confident. And the ears? Genetics. Yeah, that's what it is. Right. And I assume the little... I waved vaguely at their horns. And dinner? Those things are just cosplay to complete the look? Would that make a convincing argument? I squinted. Maybe? Then yeah, it's cosplay. Still doesn't explain everything. Michael huffed a nervous laugh. Listen, I'm just a guy living by himself in the woods. The fuck? You don't need to worry about yourself further than that, okay? Something in this tone compelled you to not question his existence anymore. Alright, then I won't. He's just some guy. Cool, can you help me find pork chop? Living in the woods. Completely normal. Right. Completely normal. I'm Winter. Michael beamed. Nice to meet you, Winter. I fiddled with the blankets as Michael scooted closer from the edge of the bed. I know I already asked, but how are you feeling? Any aches, sores, nausea? Intrusive thoughts? Weird impulses? Fever, maybe? The urge to fuck? I don't know. Oh. He placed his hand on my forehead before I could react. His hands were callous, quickly retracting as he gave me a thoughtful hum. You seem to be lucid. That's a good sign. Great. He hummed, absent. His twitching ear reminded me of a perturbed cat. Are you chop? Cat. My cat! Oh, shoot. Sorry if this is out of nowhere, but have you seen a cat around here? Around these parts? His name's Porkchop. He's a sweet little thing, about this big. About this big. Skittish, but he can approach strangers if he needs to. Yeah, that does sound like Porkchop. I pulled up my phone to show pictures of him. Here's this one, here's this one, here's this one. Please put a bunch of pictures of Porkchop as I did that. Only to find it missing from my back pocket. Oh, fuck. Wait, where is... I haven't... Huh? Your cat, I haven't seen it. Oh, I see. I slumped against the pillows, rubbing my temples. He lost his collar, too. Even if anyone finds him, they wouldn't be able to tell me where he's from. Damn it. Michael stayed quiet, watched me from his side of the bed. You came all the way out here for a cat? Huh? Of course! To the point where you're willing to run yourself ragged this deep in a forest for a cat? Do you realize how far you wandered away from the nearest town? I found you near unconscious in an area nobody stepped foot in for years. For a cat? Dude, I would do fucking anything for my cat. He sounded like he was holding himself back from giving me a stern lecture as if in disbelief. I had such little regard for my own survival. My cheeks grew heated at how stupid reckless that sounds. I mean, he's not just a cat, he's my family. I know it was stupid for even trying, but I had to. Michael eased up, shoulders tense as he looked me over from underneath his unruly bangs. Family, huh? He finally tipped his head at me with a smile. You're willing to wander this far for such a small critter? I've met my fair share of lost campers, hunters, and a few runaway teens or two, but someone looking for their pet? You're kind of weird, aren't you? I mean, yeah, a little bit. I sputtered, much to his amusement. Speak for yourself. Who cosplays in the middle of the woods? Michael laughed, a deep, hearty one resenting from his chest. Fair. I think I'm starting to like you, Winter. Likewise, I guess. His smile widened, but something about it was off. He was showing too much teeth. Oh. It felt like he hadn't talked to someone in a real long time and forgot how to smile the right amount. I rubbed my neck, trying to think of something else to say. Can I ask, how did I get here? Oh, like I said, I found you in the woods not far from here. Oh, jeez, really? I know I was tired, but I couldn't have possibly... Huh? I did step in something important. Familiar pinpricks crept up my skin. Home. I need to go home. Michael stiffened as he grabbed my shoulder. Never mind that. You'd fallen unconscious from the heat stroke. Heat stroke. Heat stroke. Heat stroke? No, that wasn't what happened. I was fine up until... Michael shook his head instantly, leaning close. No, Firefly, you weren't fine at all. Why are you calling me that? I'm getting weird vibes from you now, Michael. If I hadn't found you when I did, well, who knows what could have happened. You could have gotten injured or attacked by a wild animal. There's danger in these woods, you know. No, he was right. What is this sound I'm hearing? You had been so foolish. How did you think that you could do this on your own? Searching for your cat in the middle of the woods? And to go in without bringing any water. Passing out from heat stroke of all things. How could you have been so stupid? I shook my head, brain too foggy to pick apart my thoughts. He sounded so confident. Why should you doubt him? Why should I? I'm sure that's what happened. Well, if it means anything, I'm glad you were there. Michael relaxed, hand on his lap once more. He grinned at me. So am I, Winter. I definitely ain't glad I found you. Are you gonna, like, fucking eat me or something? His eyes were hidden fully behind his unruly hair, but I couldn't help feeling how intensely they were fixated onto me as he said that. I'm getting weird vibes from you, Michael. The hairs on the back of my neck stood. Sure. Without a distraction, I've only realized how uncomfortable I was sitting still. The blanket on me was starting to itch as this desperate need to get home began to rise in me again. This was interesting, but I really should get going now. Wait! My host jumped up from the bed before I could. I mean, you can't. I can't let you wander around the woods this late. Please, stay a bit longer. But, Michael, I really. Come! He grabbed my hand and led me across the room. Ooh, cozy kitchen. We stepped into the kitchen, a fragrant smell of cooked potatoes and meat hanging in the air. 2 plates had been set up on a small circular table, complete with utensils and mugs of tea. I wasn't expecting guests today, so the food is nothing fancy. But join me for dinner? He looked so hopeful, ears drooping. What is this weird static that keeps popping up? You'd feel so bad if you had to say no. What's with the text color changes? Something I'm continuously noticing. It's a little odd, to say the least. Wonder if that say yes or say no. Fuck it, why not? Michael seems like an upstanding cosplayer. How could I possibly say no? Michael's jaw dropped for a second before he quickly recovered. Yes, of course. Here, come sit. I'll serve up the cottage pie in a minute. Cottage pie. I sat as instructed, my stomach rumbling from something fierce as the smell. Something fierce as the smell was the only thing I could focus on. Yes, this was definitely the right choice. I'm sure it was. What was so important that you had to leave so soon? My cat? The outside world can wait. You could stay here and enjoy my company. Oh, actually, I should ask. Are you okay with meat for dinner? I could make something else for you if that's your preference. I'm okay with meat. Michael, I swear to God, if you somehow killed my cat, I will end your little twink existence. Oh, okay. You'll be having the same dinner as me then. Michael pattered about the small kitchen with an almost giddy excitement. He put on a pair of knitted oven mitts, humming as he stopped down and pulled out a steaming tray of pie from the wood stove. The smell! It filled out the kitchen in an instant as he brought it to the table, my stomach rumbling louder in response. Okay, bro. I'm pretty sure Michael could hear it, but he just smiled as he served up our portions. He discreetly cut me a bigger piece, which I was grateful for. Oh, hell yeah! Ooh, that looks pretty good. It looks so good! The crust was a nice golden color, streaked with crisp lines and garnished the meat. A veggie filling looked absolutely delectable, the savory sauce leaking onto the plate. God, my mouth was watering looking at it. My mouth was watering, unsurprisingly, considering the fact that I hadn't eaten all day. Careful now, it's still hot. It was fair advice, but I didn't wait for 2 more blows before biting into my first forkful. Ah! Fuck! It was definitely way too hot to eat straight from the oven. I mean, yeah, no shit. Michael kept a polite expression in the corner of his mouth, lifting as I panted with the piece still in my mouth. It's fucking hot! He gave me a few seconds to recover, elbow planted onto the table. Is it good? I nodded vigorously, even though my buds were burning. I couldn't taste anything. He laughed. It's usually better on the second bite. Oh my god. I don't have good feelings about Michael. I don't trust him all the way. I slowed down. hand in my mouth as Michael poked his fork into his own slice. I tentatively blew on the piece of pie to make sure it was cool before taking another bite. He was right. The second bite was a lot better. The seasoned potato crust was nice and crisp on top, cheesy and creamy in the middle. The savory meat filling was well cooked and bursting with flavor. Every bite felt like home. My host watched me enjoy the meal from across the table. You got any, like, YouTube I could doom scroll when I'm eating? Because I kind of need that.
Do you like it?
Yeah, this tastes amazing, Michael. He flushed from the compliment, rubbing the back of his neck. Oh, God, he's so into me, chat.
I'm glad. I like to think of myself as a decent cook, but I've never been able to get anyone else's opinion on that.
Do you like baking in particular? This is not how I thought this game was going to go, by the way.
Not always. I usually go for simple dishes with any ingredients available.
I hope cat wasn't available to you, Michael. I nodded amicably, though I didn't say much else. I was far more focused on scarfing down dinner, which thankfully Michael didn't seem to mind. The overall atmosphere was nice and homely. I could hear Michael tapping his feet from underneath the table. Bro's autistic as shit. I guess he was that happy that to have someone stay for dinner. It didn't seem like he lived alone, judging on the surroundings in his cabin. So, I'm kind of curious. He perked up instantly, his focus solely on me. What made you want to live all the way out here?
Oh, well, when you look like me, it's kind of easier to just live out of sight from everyone else.
A pang of guilt shot through my chest. Ah, fuck. I was giving him a hard time about how he looked, too. He must have sensed it clear as day on my face.
Not that you're one of them. You actually been nicer than most. Though I wonder if...
His smile turned strained.
Never mind. My point is, it's better here than anywhere else.
Why don't you try the tea, Firefly? I'm not a fan of this nickname you're giving me, Michael. He seemed uncomfortable now, easing into a different topic. It's probably best to follow along. Oh, sure. I reached out towards my mug, only to push it off the edge with my clumsy fingers. Oh, God. Wait! I bent over to the side to grab it, fully expecting it to just fall out of reach and land on the floor into broken pieces. It never did. Oh. Whoa. Whoa, mushroom tail. Alright, Michael's kind of hot. Instead, a long green appendage was twisted around the ceramic mug, surely keeping it in place. Not even a drop had fallen out. My eyes trailed along the length of it until I pinpointed that it came from behind Michael, the rest of it partially hidden beneath his cardigan. Michael? Is that yours? Sick! Michael buried his face in his hands, the strange appendage from before lowering to his side, mug in tow.
I'm sorry, Winter. I think it's time I was honest.
Whoa. Oh, cool. He lifted his head, fingers guarding his hair back to reveal his eyes. I froze as multiple pairs of irises stared right into mine, before darting to the room and avoiding my gaze.
I know it's a lot to take in, but this is who I really am.
Please don't be scared. Oh, no, bro, you look sick, like, actually. Remain calm, because you look cool. I swallowed audibly, willing to not look away. He seemed to be holding his breath as I gripped the edge of the table. It felt unsettling every time he blinked, those eyes in succession, even when he wasn't looking at me. Was it real? It had to be. Yeah, I'd believe it. I choose to believe cooler fantasy stuff could exist out there. You never know. It had to be. Everything about him suddenly made so much more sense. The isolation, the avoidant behavior. He looked freaky, yes, but he also looked sad. I swallowed thickly. I'm not scared. Michael's many pupils blew wide, dilating like an excited wildcat. It sent shivers up my spine. Just fucking pounces on me. Okay, maybe a little bit scared.
Sorry.
He hastily grabbed an empty plate and hid behind it, shoulders scrunched up, despite his stature.
Would it help if I just hide it? I could fix my hair like before, if that's what you prefer.
His voice was muffled behind the ceramic barrier between us.
It was kind of endearing. I slowly reach out to touch his hand, the slight brush on my fingertips making him jump in place. Michael?
Yeah?
Can you put that down? He slowly lowered the plate. God, I'm kind of into Michael. He's kind of hot. He slowly lowered the plate. His eyes were still darting to the side, avoiding me. Can you look at me? I would not be asking for eye contact. Don't look at me like that. Sorry, I just can't stop looking. This was so awkward. Oh my god. His hands were shaking. I looked down at the mug, still floating next to him, hanging on for dear life. I reached over and plucked it straight out of his grasp. I tentatively took a sip, noticing how Michael was watching me over the rim of the mug. The taste was mildly spicy, with an almost earthy bite to it. Sounds kind of good, actually. I recognized it instantly as ginger tea. Ooh, nice. It's almost room temperature, but it's still pretty good. Huh? You wanted me to try the tea, right? I like it, so thank you. Oh, I'm glad. Michael relaxed back into his seat, following my lead as I picked up my fork once more. The silence didn't last long as Michael fidgeted. Are you really okay with this? With me? I gave him a once-over, really taking in his features. Well, what's the It's very different than what I'm used to, but I think I can learn to like it. Is that weird to say? I mean, you're not bad to look at. It's actually kind of, damn it, what do I say? It's kind of hot! Kind of, oh my god, I can't say, oh no, oh no. Well, surely I gotta stick with what I said. Oh no. Fuck it. Hot? You're not referring to me to temperature, are you? No, I'm not. Oh. He looked confused, but seemed embarrassed anyways. My point is, your appearance shouldn't matter. You've been nothing but kind to me so far. I'd be the worst kind of person to judge someone based on how they look. I haven't known you that long, but you seem like a good person. You're fine, Michael. I smiled at him. We're fine. I see. He fidgeted some more before nodding and smiling a bit. Thanks, Winter. I'll cherish this moment forever. He beamed at me enthusiastically and went back to eating his food. That was something. Where's my cat? We continued with a bit of small talk, mostly stories about pork chop or snippets from my personal life. Michael hung on to every word I said, not bothering to elaborate much about himself, despite my burning curiosity. I could tell he was extremely insecure about his appearance, so it's probably best I keep my questions to myself for now. You think you're insecure? Look at me! We cleared up the kitchen in relative silence, Michael storing away the rest of the pie as I washed the dishes by the sink. Being out here in a remote cabin, I wondered how he'd running water. Actually, yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I'll ask him later. So, thanks for dinner. Thanks for the company. Oh, and please, take the bed tonight. You're my guest, and I'm the host. Take the bed, okay? Alright. I'll be out of your hair first thing in the morning. Michael got quiet, staring at the floorboards. Or I could stay, and you could help me look for my cat. With his hair out of the way, I could finally read his expressions. He did seem upset. Is that okay? I do need your help, though. I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna get lost again on my own. His tail flicked behind him. Yeah, I'll bring you home tomorrow morning. I heaved a sigh of relief. Thanks, Michael. I'll see you in the morning. Yeah. Good night, Winter. Good night, Michael. He seemed really happy being able to say that. I plopped myself down onto Michael's bed, getting comfy beneath the blanket. Or we could sleep together. Michael was gathering some blankets of his own to make a makeshift bed on the floor in front of the fire. He had an impressive collection of knitted items, a comfortable nest forming in the center of the room. My eyes trailed after his tail out in the open as it flicked and swayed. Kind of like a cat.
Oh, no, don't do me like this.
I missed pork chop. Oh god, I missed pork chop. Now with a full stomach, dozing off came easy. I didn't even realize how tired I was. I listened to the gentle crackling of the fire, my vision darkening. Good night, Winter. Okay. Alright, thanks, Michael. Okay. Cool. A soft humming invaded my dreams, stirring me awake. Oh god, oh, rise and shine! I blinked my eyes open to an unfamiliar surroundings, swaddled in a blanket that clearly wasn't mine. But where? Oh. I spotted the familiar figure of my host seated on a stool in front of the fire, hands deftly working on the green scarf bundled in his lap. His back was towards me, but I caught glimpses of his fingers as the needle softly clicked between the yarn. He looked adamant at using them, the rhythmic movements of almost hypnotic as the fibers wound together into an intricate pattern. I slowly stirred into a sitting position, rubbing at my eyes. The movement quickly caught his attention, ears flickering in my directions before his eyes trained onto me. Just like last night, his pupils blew up as we made eye contact. His expression lit up in the instant he saw me. Winter, hey, I'm glad you're finally awake. Finally awake. You look so tired, I didn't want to disturb you until you had gotten enough rest. Good morning, Michael. Good morning, Winter. Did you sleep well? Ugh. I was still too groggy to answer his question. A yawning slipped out as I stretched. He smiled kindly, a soft chuckle under his breath. Like a baby, then. He pointed over his shoulder to the door beside the fireplace, tilting his head towards it. You can freshen up in the bathroom if you'd like, while I start making us some food. Oh, food? Hell yeah. I had eaten breakfast by now, but I'd want you to join me when the food is still hot. How do eggs and toast sound? Oh, that sounds like it's gonna fucking slap! Sounds delicious! Great. I'll see you in the kitchen, then. He tucked away his knitting materials and set it aside. Oh, I also have a surprise for you after breakfast. Please let it be pork chop. Please give me my cat. It's not the most exciting surprise, but, just join me when you're ready. He ducked into the kitchen without another glance. I could hear his boots thud on the floorboard cabinets opening and closing succession in the kitchen. I suppose that's my cue. I rolled out of bed, leaving the warmth of Michael's blankets, and trotting over the door Michael pointed out. Ooh, cozy. Stepping inside, I didn't know what I was expecting when he said he had a bathroom, but it was surprisingly spacious. Everything looked like it was carved and polished out of wood. Pretty cozy. He seemed to have everything you'd find in a modern bathroom. A sink with a cabinet, a shower and a tub, and even a toilet. Curious, I crept over to the toilet in particular, inspecting it. That's probably what I would do too. There wasn't a tank like you'd expect where the water would be stored. Instead, there was a compartment to the side full of sawdust and a scoop. I was expecting it to have at least a bit of a smell, but it was surprisingly odorless. There was even a roll of toilet paper on the side. It was no flushing system, but it was hygienic. Michael must have done his research. It's like a litter box type situation. Like a cat. Walking over to the sink, I stared at the faucet before hesitantly twisting it. I jumped when I heard the rush of water pouring in, swirling in the basin before disappearing to nowhere. Wow. Why am I impressed by a damn functioning bathroom sink? It's out in the middle of the woods with a cute little femboy gremlin. I helped with the dishes last night. I already knew Michael had plumbing. Shaking my head, I finished freshening up and headed to the kitchen. Michael looked up as I entered, a steaming kettle in his hand. As I entered, a steaming kettle in his hand with 2 empty mugs on the counter. I love his little mushroom tail. He's so cute. It might have been the lighting, but he was taller than I remember. Glancing to the table, I could see he already finished plating up our food. Oh, wow. You work fast. Michael looked proud of himself. Can't have my guests stay on an empty stomach. Go on, have a seat. I'll join you in a moment. I returned his smile and sat down, stomach grumbling as I looked at our plates. Oh, that looks good. God, I'm so hungry now. Holy shit. Once again, Michael was generous with the serving sizes. That's my goat! Fat slices of bread were toasted perfectly with crisp buttered sides, bright red tomato slices, and a crisp salad peeking underneath the fluffy eggs. Oh, that looks good. Goddamn. It looked amazingly tantalizing, the smell of savory herbs wafting into my nose. My mouth watered. Michael sat down, a steaming mug beside me, before settling into his own seat. Peeking above the rim, I could see small flowers floating about, tinting the water yellow. It faintly smelled of apples. I recognized the yellow dried pellets on tea packaging I've seen before. Oh. I can't. Chameleon tea. He nodded. I hope you like it. I'm sure I will. I love tea. His smile widened, his tail swayed at the tip by his feet. He seemed more relaxed, showing his natural features this morning. Any trace of panic and hesitation from last night were gone, replaced by a look of contentment. Michael bit into a toast, and I followed suit. The food was delicious, as I expected. Great cook. The chunk of toast I bit into was heavenly. The butter sweet on my tongue. The tomatoes and salad provide a nice crisp balance. And the eggs. Something about the simple home-cooked food is just the best. Michael was happy to eat in silence, occasionally looking up at me as I enjoyed my food. He'd smile when our eyes met, his bottom pair narrowing into a happy squint. I wonder if he'd be open to some questions. Hey. Do you mind if I ask... How'd you learn to cook? Cottage pie is a pretty complicated recipe. I just wonder if anyone taught you how to cook. I'd be lucky if someone could teach me how to make boiled eggs, Firefly. But it was trial and error, mostly. My earlier endeavors were, pretty much inedible. I picked up a thing or two about cooking, though, so your taste buds aren't gonna fall victim to nasty creations like in my early days, at least. Speaking of, did you enjoy dinner last night? Of course I did. You're a really good cook, Michael. I'm glad. It probably wasn't obvious, but I'm really happy I got to cook for you. I don't get guests often, in case you couldn't tell. I should ask you to cook for me every day, then. He grinned at my joke, looking pleased. I'd be happy to. I chuckled as I took another bite. So, what's your favorite thing to cook? He lit up at the question. Fried mushrooms? Oh, not a big mushroom gal, I'm not gonna lie. Fried mushrooms? Yeah. There are plenty to find, and it's easy to make. Huh. Do you remember finding a patch of mushrooms yesterday? They smelled pretty funky, though. Oh, why the expression changed, Michael? You remember that? What was that? Michael, there's something off about you. Why don't you want me to remember certain stuff? Nothing. Anyways, mushrooms were the only thing I had for a while before figuring out I could eat other stuff like roots and veggies. Do you forage all your ingredients? Mostly. The times I figured out how to catch fish and hunt game were the best of my life, I'll tell you that. My first taste of meat? He did an awkward version of a chef's kiss, as if mimicking something he saw on television once. Mamma mia! He was trying to say Mamma mia. He continued before I could even dwell on it for a second longer. But nothing beats what you humans are able to make. You guys go nuts with ingredients. Rice was a challenge. It was a precious ingredient since I'd actually have to get some from a store, but once I figured out how to make it nice and fluffy, I considered it a special treat. I did a double take. You go to the store? Yeah? Where else would I get it? I thought you would grow it yourself or something. He laughed as I flushed in embarrassment. It's flattering you think I'm even capable of something that impressive, but no. There's only so much the forest can provide. But what about money? We're talking about human currency, right? Otherwise, how would you even... Do you actually have a job? A thought occurred to me. Or did you steal it? He almost looked offended. Do you take me for a criminal? No, but I take you for a femboy. No, but that would mean... Then how? Michael bit into his toast, his two eyes winking in mischief. I have my ways, Firefly. What's that supposed to mean? Oh, what's it like? I'll ask that one last. How do you have plumbing in your house? I know it's a silly question, but I can't stop thinking about it. Oh, you were wondering about that. The embarrassing look on my face was probably enough of an answer. Well, it's nothing fascinating. It's just rainwater I've got stored above the cabin. Just rainwater? He nodded. I detected a hint of pride as he continued. It's actually a recent installment, believe it or not. Granted, the project took a while gathering materials, figuring out the tools, finding the right instruction manuals. Plus, I had to figure out where to store the water tank. Don't worry, I installed a filtration system, so it's safe for us to use. I check in every few days to make sure nothing's contaminated. That sounded daunting, especially considering he lived all the way out here in the woods. You did all that on your own? Michael, how old are you? You give me 20s vibes. I kinda had to. Anyways, it took a whole lot of calibrating and adjusting, but it really worked out. And now that I think about it, I'm glad you get to be more comfortable here during your stay, too. Does that answer your question? Where'd you learn to do all that? I had to figure out a lot of things on my own. There was a faint hint of exhaustion in his eyes. But to answer your question, I go to libraries a lot. It's where I learned about a majority of things. The fact that he even ventured into buildings at all already surprised me. And if I'm real lucky, they have all these neat DIYs and workshop manuals archived for anyone to browse through. It took a while to figure everything out. A really long time, actually. But hey, I had nothing but time. And it paid off. I'm considering upgrading the toilet next, but for now, the composting system works fine. Learned about that thing in an old camping guide. He paused to take a breath as if he hadn't talked this much in a while. I'm rambling, but that's how I did it. Is there anything else you want to ask? No, I believe you went to libraries. No, I'm good. What's it like living in the woods? I still can't believe how cozy you managed to make it, considering the whole middle of nowhere thing. It wasn't like this when I found it. No? It was a major, fixer-upper. So the cabin was abandoned. I never would have guessed. Yeah, I'm really happy I got to live somewhere permanent for once. It's not much, but it's home. What's it like? Peaceful. Quiet. I do like it a lot. Oh, excuse me. The forest provides me with everything I need. And nobody bothers me for the way I look out here. His ears twitched slightly. Something you just happen to end up where it's most convenient for you and everyone else. The way he avoided my eyes as he said that gave me the impression there's something more to it. Like his home wasn't just out of convenience, but a fear of something else. Rejection, perhaps? Dude, he looks sick. People would be fine with him, probably. Or something worse. Anyways, I don't really have anything else to say about it unless there's something specific you want to ask. He doesn't think about his answer much before beaming at me. Well, what about you? I know you've told me a little bit about yourself, but what's it like being you? Complicated. I scoffed, waving a hand. You don't want to fucking know. You don't understand the concept of being trans. Please, I'm the least interesting person in this room, trust me. His eyes were shining in earnest as he leaned forward. Tell me anyway. Oh, well, don't know about my life, at least the parts I was comfortable with sharing. Just like last night, his eyes didn't leave my face, occasionally darting about my features and interest. The direct oogling was making me nervous, but I suppose I was doing the exact same thing when it was his turn to talk. Eventually, I came to the topic of my job and the woes of living in modern capitalism. I am a bit jealous you have the whole cottagecore aesthetic practically perfect. His face morphed into a confused pout. Cottagecore? I explained it to him in my own words. It's like a cozy aesthetic that basically how you live is idealistic. Oh, you're saying you want to live the way I do, out in the woods? Hypothetically. I nodded without hesitation. I mean, I wouldn't mind showing you the ropes. His tone seemed strangely, lilted. What do you mean? Never mind. Anyways, I don't get what the appeal is, but it's not easy either, you know? The Force provides, but it's up to me to make use of it. Starting out was... A dark look crossed over his face, as relieving a bitter memory. Rough. But I'm built for survival. I feel like asking him to elaborate would make things awkward. I decided to veer the topic into a different direction. Doesn't it get lonely? Sometimes. But I'm used to it. He smiled, his eyes lighting up. Besides, I have you at the moment, don't I? I never thought I'd enjoy someone around here. I'd enjoy having someone around. You must be really special. Yes. I'm starting to know a lot more about Michael. He didn't directly say it, but it felt like he was lonelier than he was letting on. Not to mention how he managed to make a home for himself, all on his own. I had to wonder if he had anyone at all. Do you have any family around? Family? His expression turned solemn for a moment before he looked sheepish. Remind me how that works again? Oh god, I get that, man. I get the concept based on some books I've read. I don't have what you call parents, if that's what you're asking. My mouth dropped open in shock. No parents? No bitches? No pets? God, this motherfucker's lonely as shit! He shrugged and took another bite of toast. Not that I recall. Then what's that like, living with so many people like you in such close proximity? Huh? That's how it works, right? You and other humans living in one house? Not quite. It's a little more complicated than that. And you have this, Dina thing that makes you relate to the rest? You mean DNA? That's what makes a family, right? Was he talking about DNA? His definition threw me off, but I had to answer somehow. Not just that. Family is... Oh god. People that you love and care about, who love and care about you too. That's what I would say a family is. He seemed intrigued. Is that so? That does sound nice. Is there anyone that you love and care about? I love my friends. Your friends can be considered family too? I mean, I consider my friends family. They're the only family I got. Yeah, I don't see why we have to be related to be family. I even consider my cat family. Oh, and this is the same for all families? Not for all. I bit my lip pondering the question. It's different for everybody. It would be naive to think that. A lot of families do love and take care of one another, but not everything's perfect. Sometimes that love can be misplaced or taken advantage of or even abused. Echo looked thoughtful. So it starts with love? I've read some stories about that. Love, I mean. Though certain feelings just don't make sense to me. At least from a reader's perspective. I guess you'd have to experience it for yourself to understand. He stared at me, unblinking for a moment. Yeah, you might be right. I never considered that. And then again, who would bother loving a monster like me, huh? Me. I'm a certified monster fucker right here. What? You're not a monster. I look like one though, don't I? That's besides the point. You're not denying it though. I'm just saying it's okay. You don't have to lie to me. So, family. Right. To be fair, everyone's definition of family could be different. What about you? What's your definition of family? Michael looked surprised. I asked him that question. I don't know. I've never had one, and I think your answer just confuses me more. Well, if you ever figure it out, let me know. Michael stared at the remaining crumbs on his plate before he nodded, avoiding my gaze. Sure. We both felt quiet, the lull in conversation blanketing us in a comfortable silence.
All this family talk reminded me of the reason why I'm out here in the first place. To look for my beloved cat, a sight I might never be able to see again. Don't say that. I couldn't help but the sinking feeling in my chest, a growing pit in my stomach. I wish I was able to find Porkchop. You would have loved him. Michael opened his mouth to say something, but changed his mind. My voice warbled as a lump formed in my throat. Sorry. I just miss him so much. Keep thinking if I went looking for him sooner, maybe I would have been able to find him by now. He was quick to speak up. You did your best, Firefly. No one else could have gone to the lengths that you did. You almost risked getting yourself... I'm sure wherever he is, he's doing okay. You really think so? I know so. His voice was laced with a confident assurance despite the worried look on his face. I nodded with a quiet sniff. I hope so. He's just important to me, is all. Michael looked like he wanted to reach across the table for me, but sighed instead. Actually, I'm sorry, Winter. I should tell you. Uh-oh. Oh, God. Maybe I do have family, now that I think about it. I thought this was going to go way different. That was the surprise I mentioned before. Wait, really? He nodded. Are you done? I could take you to go meet them right now. I looked down at my plate. During the conversation, I didn't realize I finished the meal. Yeah, I'm done. His movements were quick, stacking our empty plates and mugs and setting them in the sink. He grasped my hand before I could say another word, pulling me up and heading outside with me in tow. As the door swung open... Oh, God. Nature. As the door swung open, I could see only forest ahead before he tugged me along as he rounded the side of the cabin. Ooh. Almost immediately, my peripherals were assaulted with green on both sides. I figured he was the type to grow his own vegetables, but to see it in person, this confirmation was a whole different thing. With Michael leading the way, I only had a moment to take in the surrounding garden. He had marked the different plots with messy drawings on small wooden signs just jutting out of the dirt. Carrots, lettuce, potatoes, traces of tomatoes and beans. I wouldn't have been able to differentiate one plant from another without the signs. Oh my God, sorry. Even the chameleon from our team, I definitely know what that is, I'm well aware of that, grew abundant close by, the small buds swaying gently. Oh, I bumped into Michael as he suddenly stopped, the man looking over his shoulder to beam at me. We reached what looked like a fenced-off area with a bit of netting stretched around it. He stepped aside, watching me as my eyes widened. Oh, chickens! 3 fat, happy little hens strutted about like they owned the place. Nice. As he entered through the gate, the hens swarmed over in an instant at Michael's feet, circling him and pecking at his boots. Ladies, meet Winter. Winter, these are oh God, what names? More Sansuyu and Primrose. Or as I like to call them, Murmur, Sunny, and Rosie. That'd be way easier to remember. He ducked to pick one up, fluffing up her feathers as she smiled. He gently scratched the hen's little head, which I assumed was Rosie. She practically melted at his pampering eyes, sliding shut. The other two flapping their wings in a huff and went about their business once more. Michael leaned closer, beckoning me to pet Rosie. She was so soft! Rosie's the oldest. She doesn't lay eggs anymore, but I couldn't bring myself to, So I brought her some friends. Murmur came first. Sunny's a more recent addition. What do you think? Do we make a good family? Bro's so cute. I laughed and nodded, watching as Rosie nuzzled into Michael's chest. That's so cute. I didn't expect chickens of all things. Were you expecting something else? I was expecting it to be someone else. Oh. No. When you look like me, people generally don't stick around. There's that negative self-talk again. You don't even look that bad. His eyes flicked to mine, a look of pleasant surprise crossing his face. You really think so?
Yeah? You can't be that naive, Firefly. I mean it! He let out a polite scoff as he scratched Rosie's head absently. You genuinely believe people wouldn't run away at the sight of me? Well, I didn't... His smile turned smug, the corner of his lips lifting just a bit. Of course you didn't. Because you couldn't. Shoot. He wasn't wrong. I was pretty much paralyzed in his bed when we first met. But I still don't think you look that bad. Is that so? Describe me then. What? You heard me. Look at me and describe what you see. Oh God. For a second I thought he was being condescending, but looking at his eyes and all I could see was a bit of playfulness. He looked at me expecting, eyes shining. You're tall? Go on. You have blonde hair. He gave me an amused squint, his left ear twitching. What else? You have green skin and a tail. He chuckled, though there was no malice in it. But that's not it. Not all, is it? He definitely expected me to say it straight. Oh, fine. So you don't look human. So what? He hummed absently. As I was saying, animals generally don't care if you look like a monster. My heart twisted at his words. His passive nonchalance somehow makes it even worse. Michael, you're not a... I tug at my shoelace, caught my attention. Oh, chicken! A light brown hen stood at my feet, her beady eyes shining. Sunny flapped her wings almost expectantly. Aw, I think she likes you. Go ahead, pick her up, gently, like how I did with Rosie. I hesitated, but slowly lowered myself to cup Sunny by her wings. Lifting her up, she was quick to nestle herself on until she was comfortably tucked under my arms. I could feel her wings wiggling as she nuzzled onto my side. So cute! Michael's gaze softened as I cooed at the chicken, mimicking her small clucks. So, did it help? Cheering you up, I mean. Oh, so that's what this was. A fuzzy feeling blew into my chest as he looked at me, chicken in his arms and concern on his face. A little bit, yeah. Only a little. I snickered, rolling my eyes. Okay, mister, a lot. That's more like it. His proud grin was infectious. I couldn't help smiling back. We spent a bit more time with the hens, petting them until they were satisfied. Michael even showed me the spot where they like to have their dust bath, little chicken-shaped holes scattered about in the dry soil underneath the coop. Once the gals had enough of us, we refilled their water container before leaving. He left them some treats, procuring them straight out of his pockets before shutting the gate. The girls' excited chatter all over the food faded as we made our way back inside his cabin. I sat by his bed as he crouched down by the fireplace. From the window I could see the sun outside was getting higher. It might be close to the afternoon now. Hey, Michael? He looked at me from where he was stoking the fire. I rubbed my arms, unsure of where to place my gaze. Right at the dick. I think it's a good time for me to go now. My expression fell, but I caught myself quickly. He's done his best to cheer me up, but it'll be inconsiderate towards him to leave in a bad mood. I might have to accept I'll never see Porkchop again. I think it's better if I focus on moving on. No, God, don't say that. He was quiet for a moment, hands in his pockets. If you say so. But you don't have to leave just yet. We still got plenty of daylight left, and there's still some places I want to show you. Won't you come with me? I had to decide. Oh. Okay. I promise I'll take you home right after. He took another step towards me. Please, Firefly? I didn't want to say it, but he looked desperate. Okay. I'll go with you. The joy on his face was shining, bright as a billboard. Again, I have slightly bad feelings about this. Not gonna lie. Great. Let me get our stuff. He disappeared in the kitchen, returning with my backpack in one hand and a satchel in the other. He passed it to me as he walked by towards the front door. Huh, I almost forgot I had this. Ruffling through my bag, I found cat treats, Porkchop's collar, a broken compass, and my phone. Battery was dead, though. Still, That's one less thing to worry about. I checked in my bag once more, finding an empty water bottle. I frowned, distinctly remembering I forgot to pack water for my trip. Or at least Michael told me I did. Didn't I? You ready? I looked up at Michael's. What the fuck? Startling when I spotted a large crossbow in his hands. He followed my gaze and shrugged, albeit with a nervous smile, like he'd been caught doing something he shouldn't be. He quickly strapped the weapon on his back and out of sight. Don't worry, I'm not going to use it unless it's necessary. I would hope not. He chuckled at my indignant tone. You think I'm going to let you out into the woods without guarding your safety? Dude, bro is so into me, it's insane. I made a promise to get you home, so this is just an extra precaution. Don't think it's a bit much? Better safe than sorry, Firefly. He did have a point. If anyone knew these woods and the kind of danger it held, it'd be Michael. I glanced over him again, noticing he changed his oversized cardigan for something more outdoor appropriate. His eyes tracked mine, his shoulders stiffening as a tint spread across his face. So, shall we? He opened the door and waved me out. I stepped outside to glance around the front yard. The landscape wasn't anything special, but it actually left quite plain, just thick with trees and foliage. Only paths of dirt and flattened grass cued me to the routes Michael would use as he comes and goes, webbing in all directions, trailing to the front door. Come to think of it, anyone passing through would be able to spot Michael's house if they squinted through the trees carefully enough. I guess he was right that nobody walked through this area in years. I heard a lock turn before Michael joined me by my side. He smiled wide before tipping his head in any direction, making sure I was behind him before he started walking. I was hesitant, but followed suit. It was quiet as we traveled, save for the sounds of nature calling out around us. The weather was bright and warm, the sun casting pretty rays through the gaps in the trees. I have to admit. Enjoyable that it was. The bird call and rustling of leaves as he walked somewhat brought bad memories. Yesterday was miserable. I was lost, tired, and hungry. There was a chance I wasn't going to make it out alive. I watched Michael's back as he led the way, the man barely paying any attention to his surroundings. His ears would occasionally flick back in my directions, but overall he seems confident on where to go. Having Michael as my guide home was definitely a great assurance. It made me even more grateful he'd found me when he did. I sighed and shook off the negative feelings, keeping pace while appreciating the fresh air. I stepped out next to my companion, willing to speak after plenty of silence. This is actually kind of nice. A good old nature walk. I coughed into my fist, feeling embarrassed. I don't go outside as often as I should. Michael smiled kindly. I'm glad I get to bring you then. Yeah, feels different when you know where you're going. Actually, where are we going? He sensed my nervousness and laughed. Don't worry. We're almost there. I looked up and saw it before he even pointed it out. Clearing in the distance, the trees growing strangely sparse in that area. I held my breath as I noticed the grass slowly started to dot with the flowers, delicate blooms swaying here and there in the breeze. As we got closer, Michael watched me as my mouth dropped open and a knowing twinkle in his eyes. It was breathtaking. A secluded little meadow of flowers lit up by beams of light, making the scenery resemble a page from a forgotten fairy tale. Butterflies flitted about in pairs, their wings flickering and complementing the surreal yet enchanting ambience of the whole place. Michael let me gawk some more before walking around, turning to face me before sitting down to relax in the grass. He slipped off his satchel and laid it on the grass by his side with his crossbow. I blinked out of a stupor and approached him, spinning around to drink everything in before plopping myself down next to him. So, what do you think? Pretty, isn't it? We're about to fucking make out, what the fuck? I nodded dumbly before finally glancing to face him, the man's gaze on me softening as our eyes met. Butterfly approaching us rapidly, making me flinch on instant. It landed on his finger as he held it out, its wings flapping gently. He smiled at the dainty creature, a fond look in his eyes before he held it out towards me. Do you like butterflies, Winter? I think they're okay. I think they're okay. Michael nodded, rotating his finger to watch the creature flutter its wings. I think they're fascinating. They're, metamorphosis? Metamorphosis? He beamed, nodding excitedly. Metamorphosis. My cheeks puffed in holding back a laugh. Michael knew he fumbled, but grinned anyways. That word you said, it's amazing. To have that ability of being reborn into a different creature. A chance to look different. The chance to look beautiful. Damn, that hit pretty hard. What the fuck? I scanned his face thoughtfully before pulling my knees up to my chest. It kind of is. The sun was at its peak now, the air getting warmer as minutes passed. The leafy canopy over us provided enough cover for us to not overheat. Michael picked a flower with his other hand and placed it in my palm, his tail looping loosely around us both as my cheeks darkened. He closed his eyes and leaned back further, the butterfly still resting on his hand. My ears caught a sort of rumbling before I realized it was coming from his direction. I almost wanted to ask, but I didn't want to ruin the moment. My gaze dropped as I twirled the flower in my hand, holding the stem delicately. Is Bro purring? The gesture felt platonic, but also romantic? I wonder if Michael was even interested in relationships. He'd been alone most of his life. He'd probably get tired of my presence sooner or later. Yeah, that's how I feel about everyone who thinks about me. Before I could contemplate further, the butterfly on Michael's finger took off, my gaze trailing after it as it left the sunlight and flew away into the woods. Which reminds me, Michael? Don't get me wrong. This place is stunning. But is it okay if we go now? He straightened from his relaxed slouch. But why? We just got here. I chewed on my lip, hesitating. I love it here, I do. But I want to go home, Michael. No, I want to stay out here with the fanboy. Michael studied my face. Winter, do you want to leave me that badly? Bro's getting a little overprotective now. Alright, hold on. What? No! I need time to recover from losing Porkchop. I know it's silly and dramatic, but knowing he won't be there when I get home, I trailed off, another shot of guilt, regret filling my chest. I just need to get it done with. Feel a hand rubbing my back. Michael nodded slowly, looking me in the eyes. His smile was gentle. That's okay. I understand. Oh, here's this stuff again. Maybe this place can help with that. It's a nice spot to nap in, isn't it? I picked it out just for you. Why don't you go ahead and lie down? I'm getting really bad vibes again. His words made you sway, a sudden bout of sleepiness weighing heavily over your eyelids. He was right. It was a nice spot to nap in. Why were you in such a hurry? He yawned, laying back to stretch it on the grass. The warmth from the ground seeped through your clothes, lulling you into a sense of comfort and safety. There you go. Just spend some time with me. Just a bit more. Please. Oh! Here. Something else I could show you. He reached into his satchel and pulled out a wooden box. It's called a kalimba. I blinked slowly, clarity coming back as I shook my head to pay attention. The box fit neatly in his hands, Michael holding it as if he were typing on a phone. I could see it had a hole in the middle with the thin stripes of metal arranged in a triangular shape over it. What does it do? A proud smirk spread across his face. I'll show you. Whoa! Oh, it's one of those! Play Aria Math, bro. He began to pluck out of metallic prongs and gently ringing sound resonating with every flick of his thumbs. I couldn't recognize the song, but he might have made it up himself. I closed my eyes, enjoying the tune. Michael gave a soft chuckle as he kept playing. Relax and listen to the song as you like, Firefly. I've
I have weird vibes going on, man.
A few minutes passed by with Michael plucking away at the instrument. Two of us sunbathing like two cats on a Sunday afternoon. I must have dozed off as the next thing I knew I felt a nudge on my shoulder. Comfy?
Hmm?
He chuckled low when I refused to open my eyes. I mean, if you'd rather stay. My eyes shot open, my whole body jerking to sit up. Michael glanced at me, kalimba in his lap, and a half forget-me-not chain in his hand. What? I shook my head, slapping at my cheeks. I can't believe I fell asleep. It's all right. He cut me off. His sigh was heavy. I was hoping... never mind. He patted my shoulder through his smile, though his smile didn't reach his eyes. Thanks for being here with me. Maybe we could do this again sometime. I ever see you again. Let's get you home.
Bro is lonely and a little bit controlling.
He rolled over to his feet and stood up, brushing off dirt and fixing his satchel. Come on. We gathered our things and set off into the unknown once more. Well, unknown to me at least. Michael seemed to have a map of this place ingrained in his brain. You seem a bit sleepy still, so let's freshen up, okay? We walked a bit further away from clearing, coming across a river. Compared to the rest of the path, we walked to the areas we shaded considerably with the thick canopy of leaves over us. The flowing water looked inviting as I kneeled down by the bank, Michael idling close by. I dipped my hands in, eager to wash my face. The water was refreshing and cooled my heated skin in the afternoon sun. I pulled my hands back to see Michael peeking over my shoulder into my reflection, smiling with a faraway look on his face. He startled as our gazes met, arising, darting away to look at himself instead. Immediately, his expression changed. Oh God. His ears flattened, a grimace twisted his features as his lips curled back. I'd never seen such contempt in his eyes as I did, staring at his own visage. He stepped away, retreating underneath the cover of a tree to lean against it with crossed arms. He doesn't notice me watching. I patted my hands dry on my shirt and approached him. You ready? Yeah. I stopped him before he could turn to leave. He looked at me with a questioning look, tipping his head. I hesitated. I wasn't the type to speak my mind directly. Most of the time I keep things to myself and let things go by, but nobody should look at themselves and have that sort of reaction. Damn. Hey, you know you're not, I might as well be frank. You're not a monster, Michael. He looked taken back. What makes you say that? I saw how you were looking at yourself. How you talk about yourself. None of it is true. I keep telling you, you're more than just your appearance. I don't know what compelled me to do it, but I did it anyway. I reached for his hand and held them between us. His eyes widened at the contact. All it took was a day with you, and truthfully, I think you're the most amazing person I've ever met. He made a choked noise. I'm just some old nobody compared to you. That's not... Shut up and listen! He promptly shut his mouth with an audible click of his teeth. From where I stand, you saved my life. You've taken care of me better than I could ever ask from a stranger. That already proves to me you're not a monster. You're not the monster you think you are. You're charming, you're smart, you're sweet. You're a million more wonderful things, but you are not a monster. It took a second to compose myself, lowering my voice. You may look different, Michael, but guess what? His multiple eyes stared into mine, ears flattening as if fearing the worst. That makes you all the more beautiful to me. His breath hitched. I could feel his hands squeezing mine, fingers trembling. It was like he forgot how to breathe. I realized my hands were getting sweaty. I pulled away hastily, scratching at the back of my neck, avoiding his gaze. I could feel the blood rush to my face. I could dunk my whole head in the river, and it probably let off steam. Sorry, that came out of nowhere. It just didn't feel right if I didn't say anything. I hope you understand. An awkward silence passed between the two of us. Anyways, I caught him mumbling under his breath. I can't let you leave. Oh. What? I said you can't leave. I mean, not without your cat, right? I frowned. I've already tried, Michael. Like you said, it was stupid for me to just wander off into the woods as if I'd find him through dumb luck. He paused, his fist clenching. But I haven't. Huh? I haven't tried. I know these woods better than anyone. I can try looking for him. But that means you can't leave yet. Michael, I appreciate the offer, but I don't think I should stick around any longer. Uh-oh, here we go again. I have a job and responsibilities and... You hissed in pain, a sudden migraine overcoming your senses. Oh god, he's like doing something to me, what the fuck? You felt sick, your stomach wriggling itself into knots. It felt like the world was wrapping around you as your legs wobbled. Your body buckled over you as you resisted the urge to vomit. Oh my god. I thought he just jump-scared me. Michael caught you as you slumped graciously to the ground, your head resting on his shoulder as he cradled you close. Hey, you don't look so good. Your vision doubled as he spoke, his speech oozing together words into an indecipherable mess. Are you okay? Do you need me to carry you home? Oh my god. Let's go middle one. Okay, no problem. Just hang in there. Hang on to me. Jesus Christ, what the fuck is happening? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You don't deserve this. If I could just one more day with you, I'd be the happiest man alive. Here we are. Let's get you tucked in. I assume you brought me back to your home, Michael. I should give you some clothes, especially since you'll be staying another night. You're okay with that, aren't you? Ugh. I blinked groggily, awake to the gentle sounds of a crackling fire, the itchy texture of warm bedsheets, the weight of a heavy knit blanket. I recall once or twice having felt these very sensations to the point I consider them familiar and comforting. And yet... Whoa. Nothing could prepare me for the bright yellow eyes peering into mine. Whoa! What the fuck? My knuckles hit him square in the face as Michael yelped, nose scrunching as a taller man stumbled backwards into my stool. He landed on his rear with the grace of a clumsy toddler on the floor. I sat up in a panic and immediately grimaced, landing back onto the bed with an unceremonious flop. It hit me in one fell swoop how my whole body was aching. Every single one of my limbs felt like they'd gone through a wringer and came out the other side all crinkled and wrong. I groaned aloud, leaning my head back on the pillow. Oh my god, what the fuck? Michael shifted back onto his feet, rubbing his nose. Winter. His voice was an awkward croak before he cleared his throat. I'm glad you're awake. How are you feeling? Terrible. He visibly flinched. I'm sorry to hear that. He stepped closer to the bed, leaning over warily in case my hand dramatically whipped out again in self-defense. My hand settled onto my lap. He deemed it safe to sit beside me. What happened, Michael? You don't remember? I shook my head, wincing a bit as my head pounded. Not at all. Michael hesitated. You, tripped and hit your head. See, Michael, I know that's not true. You're lying, and you're wanting to keep me here for some unknown reason. I had to carry you home. His words almost slurred together as he fidgeted. My head. I slowly lifted my hands to feel bumps or bruises, but he hastily snatched my wrist. Don't worry about that. Here, have this. It'll help. Michael gave me a familiar-looking drink as he quickly pressed a cup into my hands. Sitting up with some effort to take a sip, I couldn't help but sense the smell of I couldn't help the small sense of deja vu. This has definitely happened. The amount of times I woke up in this bed dazed and disoriented is almost uncomfortable now. He's trying to develop some Stockholm syndrome in me. At least the drink was helping, just like he promised. My body felt lighter as I finished. Michael took the cup from me and set it aside before wringing his hands together with a nervousness I hadn't seen in a while. So, I'm sorry this happened. I didn't mean for you to get hurt. I sighed and waved away his worry with an embarrassed grumble. It would be the first time I tripped, if you could believe it. It's not your fault. See, I think it might be his fault. I'm not gonna lie. He gave a soft chuckle, but it sounded guilty. I suppose you're right. It's just... His face looked like he had a million thoughts running through his head. I promised, didn't I? I said I was gonna look out for you. I said I was gonna keep you safe. Instead, I made you hurt. His voice cracked. I'm sorry, Winter. Sudden change in the meter was startling, to say the least. You couldn't have predicted it was gonna happen. Unless you could! I'm fine, see? Oh, Firefly. I guess you're right. His expression carried a lingering doubt, but he quickly masked it with a small smile, his eyes dim. In that case, you'll be staying? The way he said it almost sounded like a decision that's already been made, or a plea. What do you mean? His eyes darted aside. You agreed to let me find pork chop, remember? Did I say that? Yeah. So, you'll be staying a while longer, right? He didn't even let me get a word in. In fact, a feeling of uncertainty washed over me as if we had this conversation before. I don't think... Besides, what's the rush? It's already late and you're in no condition to travel anyway. I blinked before glancing out the window. Pitch black greeted me as I realized he was right. Yet another uncanny feeling spread through my chest, shivers crawling down my spine. I don't know why, but something about this whole situation felt wrong. I feel like I'm forgetting something else. Michael had a nervous look on his face. Maybe you hit your head harder than you thought. His words didn't sound confident. How long was I out? A couple hours, I think. You, really took a hit. It was that bad? My brows creased as I tried to recall today's events, but I don't remember tripping. There was a river. I remember you, and then your memory must be fuzzy, and for good reason. After all, it's been my stomach rumbled, suddenly echoing in the quiet room. What is going on? There was a heavy silence right after. Michael was polite enough to hide his chuckle under a palm as I flushed. He seemed relieved. Well, lucky for you, I've got dinner on the way. It should be ready soon. You're okay with soup, right? Soup? Soup sounds alright. My stomach growled once more, the pain of an empty gut making me wince a bit. My host noticed immediately. Oh, maybe we should get you some food sooner than later. Do you feel okay enough to get up? I nodded with a grumble, swinging my legs over the side of the bed before noticing something was on my lap. Wait, what's this? Oh, whoa. I unbundled the pile of thick fabric, realizing it was an oversized sweater with a pair of baggy sweatpants. Oh, this is my fit. My desired fit. Hell yeah. A mushroom pattern. That's oddly cute. The material felt worn, but comfortable. A towel laid right next to them. Is this for me? Oh, I figured since you'll be staying another night, you'd want some fresh clothes. They might be a few sizes bigger. I always prefer baggy, Michael. It's all good. Or a lot. Sorry. He'd gotten shy for some reason. On the other hand, I didn't have to take a whiff at myself to know that I probably reeked. I nodded again, giving him a small but grateful smile. They're fine, Michael. Thank you. And another thing I had to owe him. See, he's making me develop a dependence on him. This is turning into a really toxic relationship. I couldn't help feeling like I'm taking advantage of his kindness now. So, you know where the bathroom is. Take your time cleaning up. I'll be in the kitchen if you need anything. I'm very engrossed in this game, though. I can't stop yet. The game page said it might be 2 hours long, and I gotta see it through. I'm really happy you're here. He stood there for a good few seconds, fidgeting with his hands as if he wanted to say more, but before finally heading to the kitchen. I watched his back retreat before hoisting myself up and heading to the bathroom. Now that I was alone, I had a moment to gather my thoughts. The nagging feeling was back, a prickling feeling across my skin, raising goosebumps as if to tell me I shouldn't be here. I just couldn't place my finger on what. I should be careful. I should be careful. I just couldn't shake the feeling that Michael was hiding something. He'd been a gracious host so far, but that didn't make him the most trustworthy either. There's definitely something I'm missing. Those weird radio splotches where my memory goes missing. There's something going on about that. My mind was wandering even as I undressed and stepped under the shower. The icy chill of the water did nothing to distract me from my nerves. If anything, it elevated it. I was a shivering mess by the time I was done cleaning myself with whatever soap he had lying around. Once I dried myself, I inspected his clothes inside and out to see if there's anything off with them. They smelled like wet grass and burnt wood. That's what those mushrooms at the beginning that made me pass out smelled like. Considering his lifestyle, it made sense for his clothes to have that sort of scent stuck to them, I suppose. It's not, nah, there's something going on here. Putting them on just reminded me of how big and tall Michael was compared to me, at least. I fidgeted and fiddled with the sleeves and waistband until I could somewhat move comfortably. Sorry. There's no mirror in this bathroom, so I had to assume I look like a walking potato sack. Better than nothing. What's with the uncanny music? Gathering my courage, I shook out my hands and straightened myself before exiting towards the kitchen. A savory scent filled my nose. Michael did mention dinner was almost done. As I entered, I saw Michael by the stove, idly stirring something crimson in a pot and humming quietly to himself. His content smile widened as he saw me, his ears flicking. I tried not to look uneasy as he looked me up and down. How do they fit? They're alright. Much too big for me. He nodded, turning back to the pot. I can see that. Right. His smile flattered as he picked up on the worriness in my tone. Is everything alright? His eyes had a sense of worry, his shoulders tensing. I can get you something else to wear if you'd like. There's no need. He paused, hand gripping onto the ladle tightly as he continued to hesitate. Winter? There's another pause before his brows furrowed. I'm not an idiot. You don't trust me, do you? Uh-oh. I flinched. Michael looked hurt as he sighed. So I'm right. His ears flicked by the sides of his head as he turned back towards the stove. Can I just know why? His eyes were sad as he stared at the pot as if he'd been in this situation before. What happened to all the people you said that have come by here, Michael? What happened to those people? I thought I did everything right. Truthfully, I didn't expect such a direct confrontation. There's a lump in my throat as my fist clenched at my sides. It's just... The kettle started whistling, but he was clearly ignoring it. Oh, it's getting bad here, guys. I swallowed down my growing anxiety and decided to be upfront. I just didn't expect to be here again. It felt like the wrong thing to say to when Michael's frown deepened. So you never wanted to be here. Well, now you're being manipulative, Michael. I didn't mean it like that. And how else could you possibly mean it? Another deep sigh slipped out of him as he reached to lift the kettle off the stove, mumbling to himself. I was hoping you'd be different. What was I thinking? What'd you say? Nothing. Michael, His forearm expression made the words feel thick on my tongue, forcing me to reluctantly swallow them back down. Any traces of suspicion I had faded and was replaced by a feeling of guilt. I'm sorry. I just thought I'd be home by now. I know. I'm sorry, too. Oh, God. He lifted his gaze towards me, eyes full of regret. But is it really so bad, Winter? I know being lost in the woods with a Mon Man you don't know can be... Mon Man?
Alright, so normally we here in the editing booth would just do some, like, cute little shit, like, fucking copy-paste every point in the game he said monster up to this point in a row to make the point. But, deadline's coming up, so I'm just gonna be up front. Hyphens indicate pause. Bros clearly was going to call himself a monster again, but paused because he knows you don't like him calling himself that.
Scary. But I promise you, you're safe. Last thing I'd ever want you to be is scared. He trailed off. So just trust me, okay? I don't, Michael. I don't trust you. I said that from the very beginning. Even. Can you do that? Please? I swallowed and gave him a nod. My gut still roiled with suspicion, every fiber of my being wary of him to a certain extent. He seemed satisfied, though, eager to move past the tension. Thank you. His mouth quivered at the edges, all 4 of his eyes squinting with the slightest bit of hope. Please let it be different for once. Oh boy. Why don't you take a seat, Firefly? I'll be right with you. He was already turning his back towards me to start preparing the tea. I slowly approached him. Hey. Let me help this time. Michael startled, surprising to see me beside him. Oh, sure. Could you get some bowls ready? We're having tomato soup. There better be some grilled cheese to go with that. Oh, do you want some grilled cheese? Oh my god, literally. Do you want some grilled cheese with yours, or would you prefer garlic bread? Give me the grilled cheese. Got it. I brushed past him, feeling his tail linger by my ankle as I grabbed the bowls and spoons from the bottom shelf. He started preparing the sides, the smell of toasted bread filling the kitchen and mingling with the soups. I took over preparing the tea. Finally, I ladled the soup from the pot into a large bowl just as Michael finished flipping the last piece. Oh, that does look good, though. We settled in for a nice hot dinner. Regardless of how I felt about the tomato soup, Michael turned it up, rich and creamy with an amazing balance of sour and sweet. Dipping in the bite-sized grilled cheese sandwiches made it taste like pure savory comfort, crisp and gooey. Even if I never had it as a kid, it still made me feel nostalgic somehow. That's all I had as a kid. There's still a feeling of stilted awkwardness, but the food helped ease us both into a warmer, light-hearted conversation. I still don't like where this is going. Didn't realize how hungry I was until I refilled my bowl, Michael watching me with his chin propped in his hand. His own bowl sat empty, apparently it already had his fill. Is tomato soup your favorite? His question was innocent, though his eyes were observing me carefully as I shrugged. I think I'd love anything you cook. He stilled, taking a second to process what I said. Oh, well, thank you. No, thank you. Usually I get takeout or microwave dinners. God, that's so real. Nothing beats home-cooked food. What's a microwave? You don't even want to know. I can't tell if I'm playing along because I'm trying to get the fuck out of here or if I'm being brainwashed even more. Stockholm Syndrome setting in. I snickered and tried to explain it the best I can. A metal box that heats up food? That sounds like... What's the word in those fantasy books? Magic? It does sound like magic. Am I using that word right? I laughed lightly. Sometimes science is just like that. Talked about other kitchen appliances off the top of my head, slowly branching out to other human inventions. He seemed even more interested. I never understood... Oh, sorry. I never understood how technology worked. Pulled out my phone and let him fiddle with it. Though the battery was dead, there's not much I could show. He was clearly disappointed. It's about as useful as a brick. For now. Otherwise, I'd have a whole network of information at my hands. His eyes lit up. Like a library? You can access it at any time as long as the battery is alive? And as long as I have the internet connection. Right. Internet. I didn't know you could do that. I just see people staring at them all the time. It seemed boring. He looked at my phone again, a look of wonder on his face. Oh, introduce this guy to TikTok. He'll get brain rot immediately. Having a whole library in your hands. Everyone must be really smart then. The opposite. Just the absolute opposite. Well. Oh, sorry, that's me. God, Jesus. I'm losing it, guys. Not everyone uses it like a library. More like a messaging hub. Or a source of content consumption. Especially that last one. His ears flickered as he stared at me with a blank smile. Consumption. You can eat it? Yeah, he has no clue what I'm talking about. I explained it to him, the very concept of Web 2.0. I cleared my throat, deciding that I simply won't. Maybe I can show you what I mean someday. His eyes brightened, seeming like he liked that idea a lot. You mean that? I can have some? I can have some internet? Yeah. I think it's about time you start getting a little more modern around here, no offense. Imagine what you could do with a generator. His smile widened just a tad, though there's still a cluelessness to his face that was just a little endearing. Generator. I laughed and reached across to pat his head and gestured that made his smile wobble. Like I said, I'll show you someday. A loud thwack sound, the floorboards followed by a rhythmic thudding. Leaning over, I could see the tip of his tail was wagging back and forth, the tip of it slapping against the floor almost comically. Michael looked flustered as he laughed and softly pulling his hand back to rub his neck. He looked like he had more to say, but exhaled heavily, gathering himself upward, tilting his chin towards my empty bowl. Are you done? I nodded as he stood and collected our dirty dishes, heading towards the sink to wash them. I followed close behind, carrying the mugs. We made quick work of the dishes, heading back to the living room to relax. Michael headed to his basket of knitting materials, his movements routine. I wasn't sure what to do with myself. Now that food was no longer a distraction, I felt uneasy again, glancing around the room and staring at the window. Michael was eyeing me as he grabbed the stool and dragged it to the center of the room. Is there something outside? His question sounded innocent, but it had a sense of wariness to it. I shook my head quickly. Nothing, I was just... Something catches my eye from under the bed, glinting like a knife. What the fuck? Tilting my head lower, I could see it was a tin container the size of a shoebox. What's that? Michael looked up. Under your bed. A panicked look came across his face. That thing? Just some emergency supplies? Yeah, nothing too special. I'm gonna need to look in that box, Michael. I had an inkling that he was being dishonest again, but I figured I'd leave it for another day. I see. Michael watched me for a moment or two before clearing his throat. Hey, Firefly? I've been meaning to ask. Do you remember what you said at the river? The river? Oh, where I tripped. I pursed my lips and thought. Not really. Everything feels fuzzy to me. He seemed disappointed. Oh, not even a little? I shook my head. Why? Did I say something stupid? Just some things. It made me happy. Oh God, I think I did say something stupid. Before I could ask about it, he'd already gestured towards the bed. Well, you should get some sleep, Firefly. Want to wake up nice and early to find pork chop, right? The idea of looking for my cat once more made me wilt. You really think we'll find him? Michael looked on edge, pocketing his hands. It doesn't hurt to try. But it does hurt to hope. Damn. His face twitched. Well, his ears flattened as he thought of something to say, clearly struggling. He finally opened his mouth to respond, his words slow and careful. Oh, excuse me. I'm here for you. Thank you, Michael. He nodded, a strange mixture of polite happiness and hidden anxiety playing across his face. He's probably not used to another person sticking around this long, let alone someone going through a loss he could care less about. Maybe I'd been enough of a burden to him. Oh God, here we go again. Actually, can you just send me home? His brow raised, his posture straightening in surprise. Are you sure? What about pork chop? Don't you want to see if we can find him? I'm sure. A look of apprehension crossed his face. But it's so soon. Pork chop could be... Oh, Michael, please. I can't think about him right now. I just want to go home. He fidgeted with the sleeves of his cardigan. But... He looked like he had so much more to say, but whatever turmoil going on in his head was quickly swept behind a reassuring smile. Okay. Get some sleep, Firefly. You've been through a lot. Went to collect his blankets again, already arranging them into a nest like the night before. The words left my mouth before I could think twice. I can trust you, right? Oh boy. A flicker of surprise crossed Michael's face. Of course you can trust me. He didn't say anything else, as if that one line should be enough to convince me. Honestly, it was too late to start an interrogation that's only going to end up in me feeling guilty for upsetting him. I got under the covers, facing the wall with my back towards him. I could hear him setting up his nest behind me before finally quieting down with a satisfied hum. I closed my eyes. God damn. It's going on pretty long. The last thing I heard was the gentle crackling of the fireplace, accompanied by Michael's knitting needles clicking away in the dark. Before I knew it, I could hear birds chirping outside the window. The first thing I noticed was the fire must have been out, considering I couldn't hear the familiar pop and snap that came with the room's ambience. The second thing I realized was the hands gently shaking my shoulder awake. Wake up, sleepyhead. Ugh. I stirred, yawning as I sat up in bed. Michael beamed, hand still on my shoulder. There you are. Had a good sleep? I mumbled incoherently. A smile widened into a grin as I blinked myself out of a woozy state. If I didn't know any better, he seemed to enjoy waking me up in the morning just to see my disgruntled expressions. Breakfast is ready. Wash up and meet me in the kitchen, all right? Give me a second. He took that as my assent, humming his response. Suddenly, his hand reached up to ruffle my hair and messed up my bedhead further. Hey. He merely laughed at my indignant squawk. God, I'm losing my ability to read here, guys. I'm so sorry. Before reminding me once more to get up, his steps already thudding towards the kitchen. Recovering after a moment, I stared at the wall, pondering my situation for a second as I made my way to the bathroom. This was the third day since I left my house. I'm missing work, missing my cat, and missing my sense of direction. I gotta get back to my life. Today. Well, I fear we are almost at the end, guys. Maybe. Quietly reminding myself of my goal, I padded to the bathroom, freshened up, and joined him in the kitchen. Michael was already seated, cutting into some pancakes. His smile was bright as I entered the kitchen, his tail flickering closer to my seat as I sat down. Ooh, pancakes. A similar stack of mouth-watering pancakes was placed across him, waiting for me to dig in. Though I couldn't bring myself to muster up an appetite with so many thoughts filling my head. He seemed to notice the look on my face, laughing nervously. You look serious. Something on your mind, Firefly? I picked up my fork, twiddling with it. I'm just worried about getting home. Michael faltered as he lifted a piece to his mouth. Oh, you're still thinking about that? He seemed annoyed, which was a first. Of course. I've been gone for 3 days. People probably think I've gone missing. His gaze lowered, almost grumbling. Is that so bad? What? Yeah, it's bad. Why do you sound like you don't even care? Michael frowned, looking up at me now. Why do you sound like you're desperate to leave? What? It's all you ever think about. Are you not happy here? Is it not enough? I sighed, rubbing my fingers over my eyes. Michael, we've gone over this. I said it once and I'll say it again. You've done so much for me already, but I can't keep pretending everything's okay here. I want to go home. I need to go home. He sucked in a deep breath, grunting something indecipherable under his breath. I only wanted to. He seemed to be battling himself before he finally sighed. I'm sorry. You're right. Of course you're right. His tone seemed genuine, even if hurt in his eyes was clear as day. I'll send you back today. Yeah, well, we've been here before. I narrowed my eyes. I mean it this time, I promise. He held his hand over his chest. I swear on my heart. I don't trust him. I gotta be honest. My eyes narrowed just a tad. Could I really trust his word? Did I have another choice? You tell me what happened yesterday at the river? The river? I already told you what happened at the river. His voice sounded strained at the end. So, that's it then? You're just gonna send me home? He nodded. Okay. Paused for a moment before adding quickly, thank you. He nodded and went back to eating, watching me expectantly as he took a timid bite. It was a moment before he swallowed and spoke again. Can you promise me something? His voice was quiet and, for a lack of a better word, vulnerable. What is it? Promise me? His mouth hung open for a second or two before he laughed. Promise me you said you weren't lying when you said you liked my cooking. I snorted. Are you kidding? Do I look like the kind of person to lie? I'm offended, Michael. He laughed again, light and airy. But if I dared to look closer, I could tell it was fake. He probably didn't want to make our last moment tense and awkward. The least I could do was meet him halfway. Before long, we found ourselves walking down another path from Michael's. The route was different today, probably because he didn't have any detours in mind. We walked in silence for a while. The only thing accompanying us were the sound of nature and our footsteps. I could tell what Michael was thinking. I knew he wasn't the talkative type unless spoken to, but right now he seemed eerily quiet. His back was tense, eyes looking for nowhere but forward. My voice was itching to say something, anything, but it felt like both of us had some thoughts to digest, despite it being easier to just say it out loud. Still, the silence was getting unbearable. So, we both halted in our steps. At the sound rustling, Michael's ears perking in a direction. What was that? His hands were already raising to hold his crossbow, definitely cocking it with an experienced pull of the string, till a solid click was heard. Stay quiet. Stay close. I swallowed my heart, picking up speed. He started stalking low towards the source of the noise, his boots barely making a sound compared to the clumsy footsteps. The rustling continued, sounding like a scuffle was occurring between the bushes. Closer, closer, until my ears picked up an unfamiliar, high-pitched sound. It sounded like a tiny infant screaming. As morbid as that was, Michael actually relaxed as he recognized it. His steps hastened silently towards the source, crossbow lowering until we came across what exactly it was that caused the disturbance. Oh no, a rabbit. A small, delicate foot snagged in an old rusted trap. Its little body trembled as it breathed fast and shallow, no doubt scared out of its mind. Michael regarded it empathetically before unloading his crossbow, disturbed by the caught rabbit, but at the same time relieved at the absence of a threat. Just a rabbit. Sweeping his crossbow behind his back and out of sight, he looked at it for another moment before looking up towards me. Let's keep going, then. My mouth dropped in shock. And leave that poor thing behind? He raised a brow, confused at my bewilderment. Yes? But it's going to die. His face twisted in the confusion. It's generally what happens to prey animals, yes. He was so nonchalant about it, I had to keep my emotions in check. But we can't do that. Look at it. His expression was understanding, if a little annoyed. I am. Someone left a trap. A rabbit gets caught in it. That's how it works. What do you want me to do? Set it free? Obviously? He was frowning now. I can't. If someone is nearby, they'll be suspicious how their catch got free. Does that matter? Animals escape traps all the time. The poor thing is suffering. Winter, I know you're smarter than this. If it doesn't die today, it'll die tomorrow. To a trap, to a fox, to a hunter. It probably won't even survive long with its injured foot if we set it free. You're prolonging the inevitable. What a pessimistic way to look at shit. Can't you put it out of its misery, then? He hesitated. Do you really want me to do that? No. But even then, you don't even know if anyone's coming back for it. The thing looks so old. He sighed impatiently, looking stubborn in his decision. That's the point of a trap. It's okay to keep things right where they are until you come back. The way he said it just rubbed me the wrong way. I wouldn't say sadistic, but I'm gonna say it anyways. What kind of cold-hearted person says that? I hardly believe how needlessly callous he was being. For someone so sweet with his hens, he was so indifferent about the poor rabbit shaking at our feet. And I love bunnies. Don't fucking be mean to the bunnies. Looked down at it once more, my heart breaking as it started to squeak. Michael. Please. My heart was torn as the rabbit helplessly kicked its feet and cries weakening. For a moment I imagined Porkchop being caught in a trap, like, oh my god, don't say that. Just like this one, left to starve and die when someone could have been there to help him. Oh my god, don't say that. Jesus Christ. No. We can't leave it like this. Please, Michael. His harsh gaze started to soften at my plea. Does it matter that much to you, Firefly? I nodded quickly without hesitation. Please. It'll be the last time I ever asked for anything. Paused for a moment before shaking his head with a defeated sigh. Somehow I doubt it's the last time. There's a smile in his voice, though. But alright. I'll do it for you. Stand back. I have to pry it open. My gratitude was clear on my face as he pulled out the deadly-looking hunting knife from his pocket, kneeling down next to the rabbit. The terrified creature started to writhe all over again at the sight of a looming threat, Michael grunting as he held it down firmly with one hand. It started to fall still under his hold, relaxing completely with his foot hanging limp. Huh. He sure had a way with animals. I backed away to give him space, not wanting to distract him. As he was working to free the rabbit, I looked around to take in my surroundings. The trees felt somewhat familiar, and a flash of memory playing in my mind. Casting one last glance towards Michael's back, I wandered a bit further away, making sure to stay within earshot. Took a few steps before I came across a familiar sight. Oh, it was the circle of mushrooms from the other day. Recalled that Porkchop was definitely here. I hesitated at the edge of it, a sourceless sense of fear suddenly coursing through me as I stared at it. Had it grown bigger? The longer I stood there, the more fear dissipated, my limbs tingling, pleasantly urging me forward. For I realized my foot was already lifting to approach it. Closer, closer. Staring at it, fuzzy haze creeped over my mind. My face was warm. I found myself smiling at oddly comforting familiarity, like recalling a fond memory, like greeting an old friend. I knelt down to inspect the growth, reaching out to brush my hand on one of the mushroom caps. Oh my god. When someone yanked my wrist back. What? Don't. Jesus Christ. Huh? Don't touch those. I looked up to see Michael looming over me, gaze sharp, and her eyes shaped like thin slivers. You have a terrible habit of wandering off, don't you? I gulped. I just... How is the rabbit? Is it safe? His eyes narrowed as I flailed to change the subject. It's free, like you asked. Don't touch those. Michael squeezed my wrist before letting go. I rubbed my wrist. It didn't hurt, but his grip had intent. Why? What's wrong with them? Nothing. Just don't touch them. I just thought it looked pretty, that's all. Did you, though? I shook my head, feeling disoriented as my mind flickered between thoughts rapidly like a broken radio station. Michael snapped his fingers for my attention. Look at me, Firefly. His voice was snippy and irritated. I blinked rapidly to ground myself, scratching my head as I tried to gather my thoughts. Talk to me. Say anything. Some people think they're magic. Yeah, that's a pretty common belief with mushroom rings, isn't it? I hung on to that thought. Keep going. Like related to fae folk, you know? It's why they're called fairy rings or a fairy circle. Michael squinted before easing his demeanor just a little less tense compared to before. They do look like they could summon a portal at any moment and whisk you away. I look over at Michael, expecting him to look amused. Instead, he was glaring down at the ground as if the mushrooms were the most vile thing he had ever seen. No. It's more of an invasive species than anything else. I followed his gaze towards the harmless circle of fungus. They are? Should we do something about it? He blinked as if coming out of a daze. No. Sorry, just a thought that slipped out. He pinched his nose for his normally soft voice and a tired grumble. Normally I'd leave them alone to do their business, but having you here... Anyways, just don't touch it, okay? He was being far too uptight about something as trivial as a circle of mushrooms. Feels like there was more to it than that. His sigh was exasperated. They just grew in my part of the forest, is all. They make me uncomfortable. Definitely felt like Michael wanted me to use a stronger word than uncomfortable. Barely concealed growl between his teeth. Why? I thought you liked mushrooms. Michael's ears flattened. Not these ones. They're not even real mushrooms. They're not? No. He seemed to hesitate before blurting, they just happen to mimic mushrooms. Oh. Never heard of something like that. Thought there are some pretty wild foliage out there that could copy the look of nearby plants. Does it have a name? His brow scrunched in confusion. What? Them? Yeah. You know, as in the species? Oh. I'm not entirely sure. I can recognize them by sight, though, so just stick with me when we're out of the woods, okay? I really don't want you anywhere near them. Alright, if you say so. Oh my god, what the fuck is going on? I just don't get why they can be invasive is all. I consider it invasive when they come on my property. Is he really getting this angry over cute mushrooms? I'm gonna be honest with you, you're acting really weird about it, Michael. He was getting more agitated the longer we stood there, hands clenching into tight fists. Winter, I know I asked a lot from you. Please just leave them alone, okay? Why? There's... Jesus Christ. Look, can we just... It scared the shit out of me. I flinched back away from him as his voice rang through the trees. A silence passed between us before he took a deep breath. I'm sorry. Can we please step away from here? He held out his hand. His fingers were trembling. Call him out. No. Enough is enough. You keep dodging my questions. You keep deciding things on your own. You won't even tell me what the hell is wrong with these stupid mushrooms. You even going to tell me the truth, or am I stuck in this loop of doubting every single word you say? His hand dropped like an anchor. You don't trust me? How can I? What happened yesterday, Michael? I stared up at him, my glare sending him into a panic. Do you really want to know? My eyes narrowed. He flinched. I made you sick. Sick? He swallowed, taking a deep breath. I'm able to suggest things. Make people listen. I can make you forget fear. Mess with the thoughts inside your head. What the fuck? What are you talking about? Winter, I hope you don't hate me for this. Oh god. I cried out as the pressure started pushing against my eyes. A painful aching pressure filled my head, my hands flying to clutch at my ears. What? My head felt tight, full bursting, crushing under a weight I couldn't comprehend. It was like I'd painfully grown a second skull and none of my thoughts fit in my own brain, pushing outwards. Relax. It won't hurt if you relax. Michael. I inhaled sharply, feeling unbearable droning headache growing into a painful spike. Are my ears bleeding or am I imagining it? Usually I have to be subtle, other your psyche will try to fight back, like it is right now. Stop it. The feeling fading instantly. It was only then I realized I was crying, my cheeks wet with tears and the nose stuffed with snot. Why did you do that? I was trying to help you understand. By trying to kill me? No. That wouldn't have killed you. I made sure of it. Made sure of it? What does that even mean? I don't know what to do. That was all I've ever known. You tricked me. You hurt me. And you dare ask me to trust you? I never hurt you like that. Ever. I can promise you weren't hurt. It was all in your head. Damn, bro, the gaslighting is insane. I balked at the audacity. And you think that makes it okay? He froze, expression growing pained. No, it doesn't. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I have no idea what I'm gonna click. It'd be poetic if I said you're a monster now, wouldn't it? You're a monster. His eyes widened with hurt. Oh, I feel bad, but also I know I shouldn't. No, Winter, don't say that. Not after everything you've said. Oh my god. I was an idiot. You don't mean that. You don't mean that. I don't... leave me alone. No. No, please. Don't look at me like that. You're different. I know you are. We can start over. I promise we can be friends. Are you serious? Forget it. Friends don't hurt each other playing twisted mind games. No, please, please forgive me. Please, please, please. Let me have this. Please forgive me. His breathing grew erratic, gasping for air. Please, please. I can't lose you like this. I can't. I take a step back from him, the movement causing his entire body to tense up. Oh my god. He suddenly lunged for me, grabbing my shoulders tight. Oh my god. Jesus. Somehow I was ready for it, shoving him back and slapping him across the face. Yeah, fucking bitch slapped his ass. He stood there in shock, tears spilling over his cheek from the force. You really do hate me. Oh, that hurts so much, Winter. I'm sorry. Everything goes dark. Winter? Winter? Hmm? What the fuck? What the fuck? I shot into a sitting position, a wet licking trailed up my cheek as the golden retriever barked. Like it, what the fuck? Recognized that voice. Tall figure loomed into view, their long hair tied back into a messy ponytail. My eyes widened as I recognized a familiar face. Vita? Vita, you're back? Who the fuck is Vita? What the hell is happening? My neighbor gave me a timid smile, fidgeting with the frisbee in their hands. For my semester break, yeah. Where have you been, Winter? Oh, I came by during the weekend, but you weren't home, and you weren't answering your phone either. We were on our way back to the park when we found you. I glanced around, realizing I was sitting by the... Oh, sorry. I glanced around, realizing I was sitting by the sidewalk. A few feet away was the edge of the woods, right beside the neighborhood. Vita reached down and started picking twigs and leaves out of my hair, completely unprompted. Did you go camping? I don't remember. I stood on my feet, brushing off my clothes and fixing the bag over my shoulder. Oh, that's worrying. Are you sure you're alright? I think so. Remember this weird femboy with attachment issues. Sure, it's nothing. A shudder ran through me, my head glancing towards the trees. I saw a flash of yellow disappear into the bushes. Maybe a bird? Butterfly, perhaps? Dog with homophobia in the eyes. I know it's not called that. Shut up. Like I must have seen it too as the dog started barking. Whatever it was already out of sight. I think I need to go home. Peter was about to say more before I sidestepped them, leaving them confused as I hastily made my way to the street. Reaching my home, I threw the door open and stumbled inside. All of my senses felt out of tune, like my brain was still catching up with my body. My bag dropped with a muffled thud to the ground, its contents mystery as I wandered to the kitchen for a drink. Why did everything feel so fuzzy? It's like I was trimmed out of a stray photograph and passed onto a scrapbook of a page where the memory didn't belong. Why? Why? Oh my god. Why did everything feel so wrong? I downed my drink and another. My tongue was numb. Didn't feel like I tasted anything or if my thirst was real at all. Maybe I needed a nap? Oh my god, that scared the shit out of me. I was about to shuffle in my bedroom when there was a knock at my door. Confused, I hurried, opened it to expect Vita back from their walk. Nobody. Oh shit. Glancing down at my feet, there was a circle of blue flowers placed next to a strange wooden box. It looked like an instrument.
Did somebody mistake my house for another? Picking the items up, my hands brush over the wood and the thumb's delicate petals. What a strange thing to leave at someone's doorstep. Even if it was a prank, why leave these items specifically? I looked out towards the forest, a pang of something nostalgic striking hard in my chest. I've never stepped foot in these woods, never had a reason to, and yet couldn't help feeling like I've lost something. Something important. But if it was important, surely I'd remember it? Ending 4, Forget Me Not. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, what a fucking roller coaster of emotions. Jesus Christ. I can't help but think there was a better way to have gone about that. Jesus Christ. That was something. Fuck. Jesus Christ. Sorry, I'm like genuinely at a loss for words. That was one of the best visual novel games I've ever played in my life. I got so engrossed into that. I've been recording for over 2 hours. Zach, Julie, I'm so sorry that I've sent you such a long video, but oh my god. What the fuck? And that wasn't the only ending. Forget Me Not. Even if I don't do it for YouTube, I am absolutely going back into this game to see what else lies in the mystery of Michael and the mushrooms. What the fuck? That shit was... Oh my god. I was like, I don't even know what to say. Oh my god. If you guys, like I said in the other visual novel game video, if you want to see more from this, let me know. Because, wow, that was really good. I'm at a loss for words. So I guess I'll go ahead and end it here. If you go into the woods looking for your cat, maybe don't trust the weird fucking femboy monster. He's not a monster. I don't know. See, the problem I have with this is that it's like such a toxic personality thing, but like there's it's not so black and white. I do feel so bad for Michael. Oh god, this was so sad towards the end. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to just end it here or I'll end up ranting forever. Who made this fucking game? I want to give proper credit. This isn't even done, question mark? Oh my god, wow. Oh my god, is there a Michael plushie? I want the Michael plushie. I really loved this game. Mushroom Oasis. What a fucking beautiful game. Never did find my cat. But I found something in my soul. Dear Sphere Studios, fucking bravo, cause holy shit. I loved that. That was great. Props to you, cause this game was fantastic. But I guess I'm gonna go ahead and end that one here. As always, I'm Winter from Rain Stupidity, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.